here's another example using the comparison test. We start off with a series that looks fairly complicated, but we notice that part of our sum, this definitely looks like a p-series, though we have a constant in there. We know that that constant multiplier doesn't change our convergence, so that's a good thing. This part, if it was by itself, our p-value is greater than 1, we would definitely converge if it were just this. Then we've got this other piece, so it might help to rewrite that. So let's think about it like 1 over k to the 1/2. Now that part alone, this is another p-series, but now p is less than or equal to 1. This is going to diverge if it's by itself. So why is that important? Well, we want to think about what's happening in this series as a whole. We have this 1 over k to the 1/2 by itself would diverge, and we're adding more to it. Right? Well, if we're adding more to something that we're pretty confident diverges, then yeah, probably this whole thing's going to diverge, but let's just clean up those pieces, right? So this series that we have, definitely if we look at our term here, you could call this a sub n. Really the idea is just make a strong comparison, right? So compare what we have, so 1 over k to the 1/2 plus 4 over k to the 7/5. So compare that. This is clearly larger than 1 over k to the 1/2, right? Because this 4 over k to the 7/5, that'll definitely be some positive value. 4 is positive, and k to the 7/5 is positive because we're starting at 1, right? If we don't have any indices clarified here, we assume we're starting at 1. So this will be positive. So we're definitely adding something. So it's a larger thing. Now, this is a good thing because we know that the series defined by 1 over k to the 1/2, right, this diverges because it's a p-series where p is 1/2, which is less than or equal to 1. Right? And if the smaller thing diverges, that means anything above that is also going to diverge. Right? So what we have is clearly larger than something that already diverges. Right? So since this diverges, then our starting series, which has this extra 4 over k to the 7/5, right? That series is going to diverge as well. As usual, make sure that it's clear what it is you're comparing to, right? What that inequality is. Right? Of course, the direction on this is entirely, this makes all the difference, right? If we switch this the other way, we can't use the comparison test. So we have something that diverges, and what we're looking at is larger than that, right? And then, of course, label your test.